the fact that Joe Burrow is going to be number one overall in the draft, as we all assume, after a 60-touchdown season, greatest season that a quarterback's ever had at the collegiate level. Heisman Trophy, national championship, 60 touchdowns, insane season. He's a kid from Ohio who has not flat out said, I can't wait to be a Cincinnati Bengal. He has said material like, I've got leverage. Let's see how it all plays out. Stuff like, if they take me, they take me. Doesn't sound like, hey, man, can't wait to be a Bengal. And he still didn't say can't wait to be a Bengal today at his media availability at the Combine, but he still nailed it. He stuck the landing here. This should tamp down all the conversation that he doesn't want to be drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, even if he does hold that belief privately. Even if he is looking at his throwing coach, Jordan Palmer, brother of Carson, who you know very well, Suze, who has said publicly he didn't think the Bengals wanted to win a championship when he was there. And if this is the stuff that Joe Burrow is hearing about the Bengals organization from Carson or from TJ Hushmanzada or his own beliefs, having grown up nearby, as he said, it's a 2+ hour drive from Athens, Ohio. He may privately hold these things, but if he keeps on making these statements, half-hearted statements about being number one overall to the Bengals, then maybe he won't be number one overall to the Bengals. That might be his choice. He might be number one overall to another team that he doesn't want to play for, too. Or he might not be number one overall, which I think you want to be. So, this is what he had to say when it was finally put point blank at the Combine just about 3 hours ago in Indianapolis.
Joe, just to get this out of the way, if the Bengals select you at number one, would you happily report to go play for them?
Yeah, I'm not going to not play. I'm a ball player. Whoever picks me, I'm going to go show up.
I mean, that would be exciting to be able to play in Ohio professionally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 2 hours, 15 minutes from my house. And I could go home for dinner if I wanted to. Not a lot of pro athletes could get to do that.
That's pretty much it right there. Not a lot of pro athletes get to do that, is what he had to say. And then, the conversation went on after that in a manner that I think plays very well for him. Joe Burrow was asked, do you want to be the number one overall pick? Of course I want to be the first pick. That's every kid's dream. I've worked really, really hard for this opportunity. Asked, what does he need to hear from the Bengals? Okay. Now that's a question infused with, you've got leverage. How does he handle that? With any quarterback, fit is really we're going to just talk ball. Just like every other team, I'm excited to get to know what their offense looks like, what they see from me, what they see I can get better at. That's something I'm asking all these teams when I'm interviewing with them. What do you think I can get better at? Because I'm always trying to learn, always trying to improve. What a brilliant answer that is.
Very Kobe of him, if you will.
Well, he's also showing off that I still have lots to learn. Gee whiz, I'm just a rookie, which is what is a smart way to say, what do you need to know about the Bengals? I wouldn't say there are any concerns. I want to learn a lot about a lot of different teams. Humility, humble. Through these interviews, you just talk ball, and that's what I enjoy doing. On the leverage quote, suggesting he might not want to play in Cincinnati. I mean, he was asked about everything. The only thing I've said is I didn't want to be presumptuous about the pick. That's why I've been non-committal, because I don't know what's going to happen. They might not pick me. They might fall in love with someone else. You guys kind of took that narrative and ran with it. There has never been anything like that from my end. Home run, Joe Burrow. Way to handle it.
He's being coached beautifully.
Well, you know what?
That's exactly how he should sound.
Then whoever's coaching him in this manner, go talk to Jim Crane, the owner of the Houston Astros. He's got $1 gajillion and is a big, huge, successful businessman and can't answer a question appropriately to tamp something down, even if he doesn't believe it. Joe Burrow may be sitting there saying, damn straight, I don't want to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. Are you kidding me? I grew up in that area. I know exactly what the Bengals are like. Carson Palmer, brother of my throwing coach, is telling me that they're a total, complete disaster. He retired from football because of these people. That could be screaming his narrative inside his head. But you got to say this, what I just read from my phone. Humble, humility. The only reason why I said leverage is because I might not be drafted first overall after all. Although, when you unpack it, the leverage is to make sure you're not drafted first overall. Kind of doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. The only reason to mention leverage is to make sure you're not number 1 overall to Cincinnati. So what you're saying in response to that doesn't compute, but it sounds great.
He did throw in the whole fake news. You guys are creating the narrative.
Which is, he's still young to be, cynical. We can't have cynical Joe Burrow. That's not what we want to see in the NFL.
Cynical Joe Burrow, is that your new fantasy?
You need to write down. I don't know if Brockman's got all of his. I don't know if he's got the list down there. Cynical Joe Burrow would be a pretty damn good fantasy team name.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's nice.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.